All right, moving on to big news in the world of combat sports. We broke the story first thing this morning. This is a TMZ exclusive, y'all. Anderson Silva, the Spider, one of the greatest MMA fighters of all time, is getting back in the boxing ring to take on Julio César Chávez Jr., former champion himself. Now, you might know this. Anderson Silva has dabbled in boxing. Of course, he's known as one of the greatest UFC fighters of all time, but he was released from his contract with the UFC in late 2020 and has said that he wanted to pursue other combat sports fights. And he has locked up a deal to fight Julio César Chávez Jr., a guy who has fought, the likes of Canelo Alvarez. I mean, he's a big-time fighter. His father is the legendary Julio César Chávez Sr., who's a Hall of Famer, one of the greatest boxers of all time. And get this, everybody, on the same card in Guadalajara, Mexico, on June 19th, Julio César Chávez Sr. will be fighting on the undercard in an exhibition match against the son of his former opponent, Hector Macho Camacho. Hector Camacho Jr.
What?
I know, isn't that crazy? You're going to get Julio César Chávez Sr. and Jr. on the same card. You're going to see Anderson Silva, who is renowned for his striking skills in UFC. You're going to see him put on boxing gloves and get in the ring and fight a real accomplished boxer. And then you're going to see Julio César Chávez Sr., who's, by the way, he's only 58 years old, and he's going to be getting in the ring against 42-year-old Hector Camacho Jr., who is, again, like I mentioned, an accomplished boxer in his own right. So you're going to get two Chávezes for the price of one, plus an Anderson Silva. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. And look, Anderson Silva's 45, and Junior's 35, so there's a 10-year age difference. But Anderson Silva, he's definitely one of the 2 or 3 most sophisticated strikers that the UFC has ever seen. Like you said, Ev, he's been wanting to do this for a while. I think that Anderson Silva is going to win the fight. I really do, because
he's already making predictions.
Jr. is not his father. He's not his dad. Silva's going to win the fight.
Well, what stuck out to me is it's happening on June 19th. That's a holiday. It's Juneteenth. So a little holiday boxing. I was here for it when it happened in Christmas. So I love when there's activities on the holidays. So I'll be tapped in, 2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, Anderson Silva actually issued a statement saying, quote, "I am extremely happy for the opportunity to test my boxing skills with Julio César Chávez Jr. I train continuously, always striving for resilience and to overcome obstacles. Fighting is my everlasting breath." And then Julio César Chávez Jr. also issued a statement saying, "I have rededicated myself to the sport that I love and will be ready to face anyone in the light heavyweight division, starting with Silva." Because remember, the criticism with Julio César Chávez Jr. was that he's immensely talented.
Guys, excuse me 1 minute. I'm working on a story. I will be back, okay?
All right, cool. But the story with Julio César Chávez Jr. is that he's immensely talented but never reached his full potential. He wasn't as committed to the sport as many would have liked to have seen. But now he's saying, look, I've found that fire. I have found, what drives me, and I'm going to show it by knocking out Anderson Silva, which would be, by the way, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, and people don't realize it, but when you're an athlete training at the highest level and then you stop, I don't care if you're training every day at the highest level, that takes a certain type of confidence. And yeah, you do have to rededicate yourself because you have to get back almost on the saddle, as they call it. And so for him to do that, I'm excited to see what he looks like. Like, I wish him the best.
So big fight, June 19th, Guadalajara, Mexico. I can't wait.